The World Happiness Report consistently places Denmark as one of the topmost countries that ranks high on happiness. So, what makes the Danes the happiest people on earth? This book gives the answers. A warm welcome to yet another book review on a books and reading video program. The Secrets of the World's Happiest People. Book review of The Key to Happiness by Mike Wiking. The intention of this book is to go in pursuit of happiness, to find the good that does exist in this world, and to bring this into the light so that together we can help it spread, says Mike Wiking. Why books? Books because books are wonderful idea spreaders. Why Denmark? Because Denmark consistently ranks among the happiest nations in the world, says Mike Wiking. Mike then talks about what is it that really matters for happiness, life satisfaction, and quality of life. I repeat, what is it that really matters for happiness, life satisfaction, and quality of life? About author Mike Wiking. Mike has been described by the Times as the happiest man in the world. He has founded the world's first happiness research institute in 2011 in Copenhagen, Denmark, and he is part of the advisory group to the Global Happiness Policy Report. Mike Wiking then takes us to the home of the Happiness Research Institute, the capital of happiness, Copenhagen. It is 4 p.m. in Copenhagen now. The streets are alive with cyclists as people leave the office to pick up their children from school. A group of students are swimming in the clean water in the harbor, carefree, because not only are there no university tuition fees, students also receive the equivalent of £590 after tax every month from the government. 4 years ago, one train did arrive 5 minutes late. The passengers each got a letter of apology from the Prime Minister and a designer chair of their choice as compensation, says Mike Wiking. How do you measure happiness? Happiness can mean different things to different people. You may have one perception of what happiness is, I may have another. I repeat, happiness can mean different things to different people. You may have one perception of what happiness is, I may have another, says Mike Wiking. Mike Wiking then talks about the 3 kinds of happiness: being happy right now, being happy overall, and eudaimonia, happiness directed towards the good life and purposeful life. I repeat, being happy right now, being happy overall, and eudaimonia, happiness directed towards the good life and purposeful life. If you looked at yesterday, were you depressed, sad, anxious, worried? Did you laugh? Did you feel happy? Did you feel loved? Asks Mike Wiking. Our wealth is not measured by the size of our bank accounts or by owning a bigger car, but by the strength of our bonds, the health of our loved ones, and the level of our gratitude, says Mike Wiking. The strength of our bonds, the health of our loved ones, and the level of our gratitude, says Mike Wiking. The happiest people have a strong sense of community, and the happiest people have someone they can rely on in times of need. The happiest people have a strong sense of community, and the happiest people have someone they can rely on in times of need, says Mike Wiking. We stay connected, yet we feel alone, says Mike Wiking. We are connecting like never before, yet we still feel alone. Our relationships are complicated, they are demanding, and they are messy. So we attempt to clean them up with technology. We prefer calling someone to meeting them in person and would rather text than call. We find that people who reduce their consumption of social media are happier and connect more in the real world. I repeat, we find that people who reduce their consumption of social media are happier and connect more in the real world. Buy memories, not things, says Mike Viking. According to researchers done and Norton, if we are looking to buy happiness, it is wiser to invest in experiences rather than things. Experiential purchases, which they describe as money well spent. Experiential purchases, which they describe as money well spent. If people are asked which purchase made them happier, like an iPhone gold-plated or not, and one where they bought an experience, a trip maybe, 57% admitted that the experience gave them more happiness compared to 34% the tangible object. No people can be truly happy if they do not feel that they are choosing the course of their own life, states the World Happiness Report 2012. And it also finds that having this freedom of choice is one of the 6 factors that explain why some people are happier than others. The Danish education system prioritizes the teaching of empathy, and the kids often work in groups, something they will need to learn in order to manage their jobs in the future, but which also teaches them social skills and the value of cooperation, says Mike Viking. The kids are shown pictures with different facial expressions on them, and we talk about the different emotions that people feel and why they may feel that way. The kids are shown pictures with different facial expressions on them, and we talk about the different emotions that people feel and why they may feel that way, says Mike Viking. This is also useful when we read stories. I find that good fiction enables the kids to get inside the head of the characters, to put them in the shoes of somebody else. I think good books can help the children become more empathetic, says Mike Viking. We are not so very different, we just had different starting points. And while it is easy to stop listening and dismiss people we disagree with as ignorant, as evil and as the enemy, that will only lead us to misery. So train your empathy muscle, says Mike Viking. People who love to complain rank relatively low in the happiness rankings, says Mike Viking. I repeat, people who love to complain rank relatively low in the happiness rankings. One reason why France ranks low on the happiness rankings, says he. Teresa Amabile, a professor at Harvard Business School, asked people to evaluate the intelligence of book reviewers using reviews taken from the New York Times. And to her surprise, she found out that people considered the reviewers with negative versions 14% more intelligent and as having 16% more expertise in literature. Professor Amabile writes that prophets of doom and gloom appear wise and insightful. I repeat, prophets of doom and gloom appear wise and insightful. Now is the time. Now is the time to look for the good in the world, says Mike Viking. How do you do that? If you see something, say something. If you see something that increases the happiness of you, your community, or the world as a whole, talk about it, write about it, film it, photograph it, and pass it on, says Mike Viking. If you see something that increases the happiness of you, your community, or the world as a whole, talk about it, write about it, film it, photograph it, and pass it on, says Mike Viking. Most importantly, find out how you can have a positive impact on your world, on our world. We need more dreamers and doers. We need more creators of kindness, heroes of happiness, and champions of change. And remember, there is no point in being a pessimist, concludes Mike Viking. And that's the way to happiness that Mike Viking talks about in this inspiring book titled The Key to Happiness. And well, that's all for now. And until we meet again on yet another wonderful book review, this is Rufus signing off for now. Have a great day ahead.